Hey, Salut Friends. Today we are checking out Beau de Jour from Tom Ford. This is the signature version bottle re-released in 2020. After my last video on their latest release Eau de Parfum, which I thought was alright, I quickly went through their releases in recent years and realized how they have ranged from being complete letdowns to just okay, which got me thinking what was the last Tom Ford that I really enjoyed and thought was good. That brought me back 4 years, well technically 5, when this was released as part of the private blend Fougere fragrances and later re-released as a signature scent within the mainstream lineup. Comes in this grey vetiver slash ombre leather hybrid bottle. I have added this back to my spring rotation this year and enjoying it quite a bit. I was also watching this movie Beau de Jour recently starring Catherine Deneuve, the name of which Tom Ford tweaked and used to name this scent. So here I am to share my thoughts. Now Tom Ford, this eponymous brand of course, quickly became a sought after aspirational fragrance brand within a relatively quick span of time. What I consider the big four overall, not only because of sales or Dior, Chanel, Guerlain and Hermès. Let's forget YSL for a minute, not sure what is happening there. But Tom Ford's early releases were hugely popular, Black Orchid especially. Like I said in my previous video, his private blend has been one of the most influential launches during the 2000s. He was very good at marketing this cool, sleek, sexy image. All these factors brought the brand neck to neck with the big four at the time. Unfortunately, many of his earlier signature men's releases have kind of faded away, like For Men and the original Noir. Vetiver, Noir Extreme and Ombre Leather seem to be well regarded. Their parfum versions didn't live up to them. That brings us to the one which has survived till now, and that is Beau de Jour, created by Antoine Maison. He is mostly known for Mont Blanc Explorer and Armani Coat Flankers, but I much prefer his creations with État Libre d'Orange. So what's up with this one? Right after you spray, it becomes evident that it is one of the more classic leaning fragrances as opposed to more contemporary, timely smelling scents from the lineup. In fact, it strongly references yesteryear aromatic fougere fragrances like Zeno from Davidoff and Drakkar Noir to a lesser extent. Has this old school masculine barbershop-like vibe going on. Some hint of freshness from the lemon at the top. Then after, the herbs take over the composition, pivoted by the lavender. A good dose of patchouli is also hinted right away and sets the stage for the mid. In fact, patchouli is as equal a component as lavender in this composition, I think. After the lemon, the first herb that was evident was rosemary because of its astringent camphorous nature. Then there is some basil and mint which adds to this green, cool smell with some fresh, spicy sweetness. I'm also convinced there is some clary sage and clove in there. This is then contrasted by some cardamom with its warm, spicy facets and additionally some saffron with its dry earthiness. The key aromatic ingredient then comes in, which is of course the lavender. It is not the stereotypical soap and beauty products kind of lavender. Here it pretty much behaves like a part of the herbs. It is sharp, medicinal, textured, shrubby, woody with some balsamic undertones. Apparently they used a combination of lavenders in different concentrations and I can kind of see that. This smells rich, dense and textured like it is lavender absolute, which differentiates it from the lavender you find in your L'Occitane and Yves Rocher. The lavender is what mainly cements that classical masculine scent profile. The herbs work in harmony with the lavender. My mind immediately went to Herbe de Provence, a condiment popular in the south of France, which tends to contain all of these. In the mid, this herb bouquet can almost smell like you have entered herborist boutique, which has those infusions, essential oils and such. The geranium helps round off those herbal characteristics. Additionally, I'm getting some hints of florals like jasmine and lily of the valley. Now after a couple of hours, things start to take a turn and what was convincingly a fougere becomes dry, heavy, mossy and borderline leathery, which are hinting more towards the chypre. Some people have even called it an amber because of it being present in the base. I am just generalizing here, not big into these family classifications anyway. So the point being that this behaves differently and can be interpreted as per the person wearing it, seasons and so on, which is the same conundrum we have with something like Guerlain Heritage. Now, some time into the dry down, you get some oak moss, not as much as your classic fragrances, but still detectable. Then this thick, earthy, dense, almost chocolatey patchouli does a lot of the heavy lifting. There is also some amber, which I feel is more of benzoin because you get that powdery creaminess and some vanillic sweetness. A heavy dose of coumarin and tonka seems to be there too. The way it plays around these notes, not by addition, rather by subtraction and fine tuning, is what I find impressive. They did not throw in the entire kitchen sink at it, a ton of florals, woods, animalics and so on, which was overdone those days. And finally, in the far dry down, the herbal hints with that dry, dusty amber patchouli is what is left. Possibly some woodiness from cedar and musks are there too. That's pretty much how the scent closes out. The performance is fine, very good for a fougere in fact, 8 to 10 hours. Overall moderate projection, wearable year round I think, maybe not the highest of heat, can get cloying, has a good amount of aromatic freshness for spring when it really opens up. At the same time, enough warmth to work like a resinous herbal scent for fall and winter. Goes without saying, traditionally masculine, still has that benzoin powdery creaminess, so you never know. As an overall scent, I enjoy it quite a bit and think it is very good. I still remember when I first smelled it in 2020, a sales associate walked up to me and let me test it, and I thought it would be a very nice scent to wear after 20 years and walked away. This neoclassical styling is something that I'm really into these last couple of years, so I'm enjoying it more. But to be honest, I still feel young and like I need to grow up to fit this scent. Is it doing something original, or is it as disruptive as other releases from Tom Ford like Black Orchid or Tuscan Leather? Not really. But what it sets out to do within the context, it does really well. There is this dense caliber and grounded texture to it. It also feels polished, has this shine to it somehow, hints of which you can get in something like Sartorial from Penhaligon's. The ad shows it too, and the fact that they named their other two fougères on metals, which are fougère platine and fougère d'argent, both discontinued by the way, makes me think that it is a conscious decision by the perfumers to use some sort of materials which give it that sheen. As with barbershop scents, this paints a picture of this well-groomed, classy man who puts his best foot forward, feels gentlemanly and suave, still does not go too much in the corporate boss or black tie territory. There is this fun, relaxing element in there, kinda like an uncle who you look up to and can always trust and go to with any issues, and you immediately feel better. So has this strangely comforting, reassuring, grounded, aspirational air about it. I even heard Tom Ford mentioning about wearing it in a latest interview.
Now I'm wearing Beau de Jour.
Beau de Jour.
Which is one of my fragrances. Okay, well, if Cary Grant were alive today, what kind of fragrance would he be wearing?
Yeah.
It seems to fit where he is now, semi-retired and taking on life as it comes, like someone with stability who has gone through things, and as if a story in which you have worn all those modern, expensive private blend scents and finally found comfort in this smell. And I have said this before, I would like to see more modern fougere fragrances. It is a genre that is begging to be reinvented, more so than Chypre. You go into a Sephora and try to find a good modern fougere. There's pretty much none. Rive Gauche is gone. You may find the now muted Drakkar Noir or Alzoro in the discount bin. But let's be honest, as much as I respect those scents, they smell their age. If you want to stretch it, you can go Platinum Egoist, or if you are really stretching it, maybe something like Dior Sauvage or Hermès H24. Generally, if you want this nowadays, you have to go niche. Invasion Barbar, Sartorial, Chanel Boy, the new Fougere Royal, or something like Music for a While or Geranium pour Monsieur, Cologne Officinal. Even this is pushing 200 euros at retail, which is unfortunate because I feel like fougere is a very diplomatic, mass-appealing scent family in a good way. Perhaps we will see its re-emergence with vintage scent profiles like green-themed releases coming back on trend now, fingers crossed. But for now, this is one of my favorites that best represents this scent family. certainly within Tom Ford's catalog. As for the current lineup, sure, some of those newer Parfum flankers were not too bad, but I think this was the last satisfactory Tom Ford. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Take care and ciao.